Hello everyone, Olli here again. In this video we focus on dimensions and how to get Gaussian splatting models to correct scale in the SuperSplat Editor. We also look at how to set the center point or origin of the model in more usable place and how we can do this using the transform panel. Often when we 3D scan an object or environment with a camera using the photogrammetry method, we forget to take measurement of the scanned area. Even a single real-world measurement would help to set the 3D model to the correct scale when the model is finished. But this is not always necessary. Of course, depending on the purpose for which the model is used, scaling can also be done visually by eyeballing the measurements. In SuperSplat, the grid element already tells a lot about the scale. It is not just a level of the ground or floor surface, but its squares is set to certain scale. In the middle of these colored red and blue lines is the so-called origin, and calculated from it, one such wide outlined square is meant to be a 1 meter wide. So the grid itself already gives us a good starting point for examining the dimensions of the model. So in practice, when I import this red cottage, which I scanned last summer and which I like to use a lot in my examples, into SuperSplat, this model is directly in the scale that the PostChart program has set when the model was created from just images. First of all, the origin of this model is in an impractical place because it's completely inside this building, and I don't think this grid plane is in the right place anyway. I would like it not to be floating in the air, but rather define the surface of this grass field, which works better as a ground level or a zero plane. And besides, the grid lines would be more useful if they ran parallel to this cottage. So we need to rotate the model. In the left panel of SuperSplat, you will find transformation fields where we can control position, rotate and scale values. Simply by dragging the mouse over these fields, we can immediately see how the model is rotated relative to the grid plane. The same functions can also be performed from these icons in the toolbar, and there are also shortcut keys 1, 2 and 3 for them. And the 3D element gizmo changes depending on which transformation tool is used. But I have found that moving the values from the transformation panel is, at least for me, the most effective method to realign the model in a better and more practical position. Notice that the grid element always stays in place, only the model moves relative to it. This may seem counterintuitive, especially when we are moving a large Gaussian model. But now that I have found a better placement for my origin point, I can see right away that this model is not at the right scale where it should be. When we compare the width of the grid squares, it looks like the width of the cabin wall is only about 2 meters. And that doesn't seem right. The real wall is much wider than that. But if we don't know how wide the wall is, and we haven't taken any measurements from the place, what can we do? We need to examine the model more closely and see if it already contains any element with a known standard size. Perhaps this door or this window would work, but they don't look as standard enough to get accurate readings. But then I came up an idea. A car license plate. It's a standard width, and I'm sure we can find the exact dimensions for it from the internet. And it seems to be true. A quick Google search shows that the standard license plate width in Finland is 442 millimeters. So we can definitely use this and set the model to the correct scale by using the license plate measurement information. Setting the scale in SuperSplat is done using this tool in the toolbar. When we activate it, we get this empty measurement field, which values are in meters. But we need to first place the measurement points into the viewport. So I double-click on this corner of the license plate to get a placement for measurement point A, and then another double-click over this corner to get a point B. Then it is good to rotate the view a bit so that we can see how these points are placed in depth dimension. With the transform gizmo, we can move and define more accurately the placement for the both measurement points. And when we finally get the straight line that is aligned correctly enough to the model, we can enter the right width value for the license plate. Here we can see the current value of the measurement, which is 0.19 meters, which is of course a wrong value and shows how far from the correct scale this model actually is. So we can type now that 0.442 in here and press enter. The model immediately scales up, and now we can look at it from a bit further away, and it already looks much better compared to the grid plane. Of course, we need to place again the model in a better position so that we can really see what happened to the scale setting. When I managed to place the grid lines in suitable position and calculate the number of these squares, this wall width starts to make sense and looks to be within the reasonable dimensions. By eyeballing the wall width measurement against the grid squares, it seems to be almost 5 meters long now, which is probably more closer to the truth than the dimensions that we got earlier. But what does it actually matter if the model is on the correct scale? The issue really comes up when we need to combine or place the 3D GS model with other 3D models. I have created for myself this synthetic police character that I call the measurement officer. This 3D model is on to its scale, and I know that it is exactly 2 meters tall. So now that I bring it next to this cabin, it seems to be in the right proportion. It could even fit through this doorway, which is also a good comparison point for this character. If I had brought it in here before we did the scale, this figure would have looked a giant compared to the cottage. So it is handy to have these 3D models where the proportions are already in place. They can be used sort of a measurement sticks and to bring the other models to the correct scale. I had a similar situation with this frozen ski jumping tower as well. The model scale wasn't quite right when I brought the measurement officer in here. And similar way, I didn't have any real-world measurement from this area either. But then I noticed that there was a storage shed next to the ski jumping tower in the yard that looked like a standard-sized shipping container. So again, by looking up the dimensions of the shipping containers online, I was able to scale the model to the correct size. And this way my officer figure looked proportionally the correct size at the base of the ski jumping tower. I hope this was helpful and inspiring. Now you know how to use the measurement tool in SuperSplat, and you can also utilize the grid plane and make preliminary measurement on its squares as well. And remember, even if you don't have real-world measurements, you may still find an element in your model that has standard dimensions, and you can use that to find the correct scale. So, until the next time, thanks for watching.